To round out coverage on all three major US-based carriers, focus shifts today to American Airlines following separate videos on Delta and United Airlines. In the past week or so, the airline reported its first quarter results for 2022, which gave us a better indication of how the airline fared in the first few months, and in addition, an outlook on its forecasts for the next quarter as well. An always vital way to learn more about what the airline in question does expect. During the quarter, the airline saw its operating loss widen year over year due to several factors. Higher operating expenses over the increased flight activity they experienced. It saw passenger revenues sit at $7.8 billion USD, cargo revenue at $364 million USD, and also other revenues through card programs, lounges, and more, be it $717 million USD, bringing in for a grand total of $8.9 billion USD for the quarter. Operating expenses sat at $10.6 billion, with $3.2 billion being split into salaries, $2.5 billion into fuel-related taxes, $1.1 billion into regional expenses, now that's for operating regional services, and of course we had $617 million into maintenance, $678 million into rent and landing fees. You can also see other significant expenditures on your screen now as reported by the airline, and do feel free to take a moment to just pause the video to take a look through. They wrote a first quarter net loss of USD 1.6 million therefore overall from all of this. The airline CEO said, "The outstanding progress we've made is only possible because of the fantastic efforts of the American Airlines team, and we are optimistic about the continued recovery in the second quarter and beyond. The demand environment is extreme, and as a result, we expect to be profitable in the second quarter based on our current fuel price assumptions. The work we have accomplished over the past 2 years, simplifying our fleet, modernizing our facilities, fine-tuning our network, developing new partnerships, rolling out new tools for customers and team members, and hiring thousands of new team members, has us very well positioned as the industry continues to rebound." Now for the second quarter, that was briefly touched on by the new American Airlines CEO, and very similar to all US-based carriers I've covered in the past week. The airline sees the second quarter as one that will be very encouraging for them, with the recovery only continuing to very solid levels. The airline is expecting capacity to recover to 92 to 94% of pre-pandemic or 2019 levels at the very least, which is very strong. Revenues are also set to increase by 6 to 8% for the carrier. While the airline does struggle in some aspects with the acquisition and also adjustment of aircraft contracts and more, they're expecting this second quarter of the calendar year to be a very important one that should see them reap many rewards as we move into the busy summer season. With the hopeful recommencement of deliveries for the 787 in the second half of this year, pressure on other aircraft within the fleet should also subdue. They'll be able to flex the muscles of the type thoroughly once again. The airline ended the first quarter with a solid total of $15.5 billion in available liquidity, if you were at all wondering. As we know, and as I've covered in previous videos here on the channel, the airline is also had to thoroughly adjust its summer schedule with the removal of certain routes, namely that one to Sydney. This is because of the lack of 787s on offer to them, as they have been expecting several to be delivered, but as deliveries have been suspended since the middle of last year, that has not been made possible, and they've had to utilize these 787s on more prominent destinations. So therefore, the recommencement of those deliveries will be incredibly crucial for the airline in the long term. If you have any thoughts on the situation at American Airlines and its hopeful second quarter that should see them provide some very exciting and positive results, you can let me know, as always, down in the comment section. Thank you very much for watching, do take care and be safe, and I'll see you next time.